You're listening to the Esoterics Podcast.
Hey everybody, how is it going? This is Joe.
And I'm Fioraliz. Welcome back to the Esoterics Podcast.
How's it going this week? How's it going with you, Fiora?
It's going. I'm just trying to balance work and that remodel and life. So
Uh-huh. Kids, family, dogs, parrots.
yes, a parrot.
House. And then of course, the important stuff like podcasting
Yes.
and
Podcasts are my friend because this is what I listen to while I'm doing work and I'm doing stuff at the house or if I'm just working or driving. So I hope that I can offer the same the same energy that I receive from podcasts, that I could put that back out into the world.
I think so. I mean, I listen to our podcast when it drops. Usually I'll listen to it like on a Saturday or a Sunday when I'm doing stuff in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because even though, we listen to it when we edit it, and we listen to it, I still want to hear the whole thing once it's all done. But the other day I got sucked into a Chris Stapleton void. And I mean, I was listening to all his shit and all his collaborations. He did a song with Sheryl Crow, and he did one with like Ed Sheeran and Bruno Mars, and just I got sucked into that. Thank you, Spotify, for doing that for me. But yeah.
My husband loves Chris Stapleton. We should go see him. He's going to be on tour.
Oh, I am just, and you know what? I did a little research because I was like, if this motherfucker is a Trump supporter, I'm going to be so pissed. But he's actually quite liberal, and he's very much a BLM supporter and a supporter of equal rights and all this stuff. And his wife is freaking a goddess with this gorgeous hair.
Yeah,
and I totally fell in love with him and his 12 kids and his wife. I think he doesn't have 12. He's got like 6 or something. It's 6 too many if you ask me, but I don't have kids. So.
Yeah, and it's funny because he didn't even like set out to be a singer. I think he was just a songwriter originally, and then he fell into it, which is like, I guess when your calling is your calling, you can't avoid it.
You can't avoid it. I pulled his numbers because they gave his full name, and then I'm like, well, I'm going to Google his birthday, and his numbers. He's a life path 8, so that makes sense, right? Material, wealth, and success.
Yeah.
But he has he's got a couple 6s in there, so not at all. There was no 3 except in his minor heart's desire, and 3s are typically the artists, the performers, that sort of thing. So his life path, his core chart didn't really match who he is. So
that's funny. Cool. Yeah,
that's my version of stalking. Just running a core report on people.
I know. I see astrologers that pull celebrity charts all the time and stuff, and I'm generally here for it though. I know. Jasmine, Esoteric Essa, she'll do like couples charts. So she's done like Kim and Kanye, and she's done like J-Lo and or what's his name? Whoever she's with now. Ben Affleck. Yeah. So, and it's interesting how, there's certain things that align in both their charts or whatever. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see it. I like it. I enjoy it.
It's very cool. I love couples, charting and numerology. It's always really fun to see how people work together and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever dated a guy without pulling his, like when I was a teenager, I didn't know how to pull full charts, but like I would at least pull like his general astrology. Like,
right.
I'm not sorry, but I'm not gonna date a Taurus or something that's like a complete not match or something for me.
Did you ever read the book Linda Goodman's Sun
Oh
Signs?
yeah, I
Okay.
fucking live by that book. Yeah.
Right? That was the
Yeah.
best book. So you got to look up all your friends and all your crushes. It's like,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
my crush.
Exactly. Yeah, and then your friends crushes and it's like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you guys are compatible," or "No, you're not."
Seriously, that book though was legit, and to this day,
Oh
it's
yeah.
one of the best books.
Yes.
To sort of look into compatibility. So
Yep.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Linda Goodman, she's
Yes.
good
Yeah,
stuff.
Linda Goodman's books. Yeah, those are. There was Sun Signs and then there was also the Love Signs one too.
Yep, love signs and sun
Yeah.
signs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. Those are great. What's new with you? You got any announcements?
No, I don't really have anything this week.
All right. Well, but what we do have is coming up next month. We have our retreat. We're only a few weeks away at this point.
It's starting to get real, and now I'm starting to get super super busy.
Hmm.
Just with all the details and getting everything together, and plus the personal stuff, right?
Yes.
I have to get a dog sitter, and I have to pack and do all that crap too, so I'm starting to throw things together. But yeah, so the retreat's coming. It's just a couple weeks away, and we've reworked the commuter alternative into a fantastic day long option that's going to take place on Saturday, the 28th. So we're going to call it the Sacred Soul Gathering, and it's a 1 day only event that includes all the amazing happenings that take place on Saturday, the 28th. But there is still time to book the entire weekend for 888. There's plenty of room, but some of the things to look forward to, we're going to have like an amazing opening ceremony and meditation and some yoga. We're going to have a couple classes and workshops, and I'm writing the classes and workshops right now, and all of these inspired ideas are coming to me. It's such an amazing time to write a workshop. um, then there's beach meditations and sound therapy and Reiki, and Fioraliz has yet to come up with her, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna run us through? What are you
Well,
gonna?
I'm definitely going to do breath work. We're definitely going to do some breath
Nice.
work classes. Yes.
Nice. Okay. So there's tons of stuff, and then the evening's going to end with a lovely dinner and a beach bonfire, and just lots of socializing and cocktails, or just water. It doesn't matter, right? It's going
Yes.
to be a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. So join us for the whole weekend. Join us for the day, or whatever. It's going to be amazing.
Yep. I just realized it's the 28th too. And remember we just talked about I mean the
Mm,
our big Saturday thing. Yeah, it's on the 28th.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A big sigh, because I said it twice, and I'm like, why does that feel weird that I said it twice?
Yeah,
Right?
it's
It's
fine.
taking place on Saturday, May 28th.
Yep. Yes.
What are we talking about today?
So, today we are talking about Mary Magdalene.
Mm,
This is a subject that has more recently kind of come to my attention. I was telling you before we started recording, I don't know what I was thinking buying two books in the middle of doing everything else that I'm fucking doing. Um,
why not throw another novel on
right.
there?
It was just late one night and I was right before going to bed and I had just like finished my like nighttime meditation and all of a sudden it was just I need to buy a book on the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And then I just went on Inner Traditions and just real quick and just bought them. And I'm like, all right, I don't know when I'm going to read this, but I'll figure it out. Um, and so far I've only gotten through one. So I started with the book The Gospel of Mary Magdalene. This is by Jean-Yves Leloup, with a foreword by Jacob Needleman, and it was actually very easy to get through. I was surprised because normally when I get certain books, we've talked about this. Sometimes they're hard to get through. It's a lot of
Right.
information, or it's a lot of facts. It's just a lot of stuff, or the way it's written. This one is actually like it has pretty good flow. Um, so this will probably turn into maybe a couple parts because there's certain things
Good.
that
Definitely.
yeah that
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about. Um, but first, I just wanted to just kind of like set the stage as far as where this text comes from and what we know about it and all that stuff. So I know I grew up Catholic, semi-Catholic, and the only thing I ever knew about Mary Magdalene was that she was there when Jesus was crucified, and then the whole thing about her supposedly being a prostitute. What
Yeah.
did you grow up knowing about her?
Um, the same, mostly my because we, there was no God in our house. There was no church, right? Like, it was a godless house. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like, church was not a thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a stereotypical Mary Magdalene gave birth, under the Bethlehem star to Jesus, and there were donkeys there and some wise people, and no, that was Mother Mary.
Mother
So,
Mary. Mother Mary.
Mary Magdalene was Jesus's girlfriend. Okay, clearly I need to listen to this podcast because I don't know who the hell she was. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So Mary Magdalene was actually she was his companion. And she was
Okay, what's that mean?
she was his head, okay, as far as we know, because there's no like they have not found proof yet that she was actually like his wife or, but it's kind of implied. Okay. So I'll get into that part of it. But essentially what she
Okay.
was is she was actually the head apostle. Like she was the main one. And she's not even truly recognized as that, like, as far as
Fucking course she
yeah, of
wasn't
course not,
recognized
of course,
as it.
yeah, because
Ugh,
she's a woman, yeah.
woman.
And
Yep.
what would that mean? What would that mean for us growing up if we knew that one of the apostles, or that the main apostle, the head apostle, was a woman? Like how life-changing would that be for women everywhere?
For women everywhere, don't get me started on the patriarchy because I will
Yeah,
take any
yeah.
opportunity to bitch about them.
So, okay. So the Bible as we know it has the Old Testament, which will be honest with you, I don't know jack shit about, and the New Testament, which are made of the four main gospels, are that it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And then there's the other stuff that's on it, like including the book of Revelation, Acts, all that stuff. But those are the main four gospels that are included in the New Testament. So,
Okay.
but it's also really important to recognize how fucking corrupted that shit is, because obviously it was text that was a translation of stories that somebody told people from times when people didn't even know how to write yet, right? So these were all it's there, it's so convoluted, and then it was given to kings so that they can pull the parts out that they liked and that they didn't like, and they could change things around. So, but the problematic details of the Bible are a completely other episode, but so
but we will cover that, right? Because honestly, how can you trust anything this in this book, because it's been
yeah,
through so many hands, and you know
so many
people and
agendas have slipped in.
agendas and
Yeah.
religions, and yeah, so I
Yes.
mean, really.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a heathen. I'm a heathen here. So
So the New Testament is just to give you an idea of where this fits in. The New Testament is believed to be written somewhere between 50 and 100 AD. It's approximate.
okay.
The point is somewhere before 120 AD. So the Gospel of Mary Magdalene is part of several papyrus texts that were found in, actually they weren't found until 1945. So these were a bunch of
Oh.
texts, yeah, they were found in an urn that was dug
Mhm.
up.
And papyrus is a type of paper, correct?
Yeah, it's that old
Yeah.
paper. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have this joke with Mike about his birth certificate, because it's like written on some old wax paper thing, and I'm like, here's your papyrus birth certificate. And he gets so
That's
mad at me.
that's funny. Does he listen to our podcast when we laugh at him?
I think so.
But we Mike, it's all in love. It's all in love.
Yes. So yes, papyrus is a very old type of paper. Anyway, so the Gospel of Mary Magdalene was found within in this urn. Unfortunately, though, there are several pages missing. They're missing, I believe it's like the first pages 1 through 6 are missing, and then there's
Uh-oh.
another one in between. So yeah, we don't even have the whole thing. And originally, these were written in Coptic, and I didn't know anything about Coptic, but Coptic is the final written stage of the ancient Egyptian language.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so these things have been translated from there and then through Hebrew and Greek, and there's all these. We there's got to be stuff that's got to get lost in translation. It's just part of this that happens. So just keep that in mind. And even with the Bible, because the Bible was originally, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and the New Testament was written in Greek. So what are they actually trying to tell us? Do we really know?
No, I'm here to learn.
I can't say. Yeah. Okay. So, what the Gospel of Mary Magdalene says, what the few pages that we do have access to are essentially the apostles asking her, "Hey Mary, basically you were his favorite. So tell us about the teachings that he gave you that he didn't tell us." Is what this, like, it's like a conversation that's going on in here. And so she begins to tell them what he's taught her, because he gave her private lessons. So
Nice, nice. So isn't there some sort of thread of thought out there that she was a prostitute and his prostitute?
oh, okay, so the prostitute thing, let's clear that up right now. She was
Yeah.
not a prostitute at all.
Mm-mm,
So
mm-mm.
the whole thing about being there is a woman in the Bible who is supposedly mentioned as a prostitute, and then in, I don't know what time, some fucking Pope Gregory, I think it was, he came out and he said that, yeah, this woman is Mary Magdalene, even though she's not named, that's who she is. And then in the 60s, the Catholic Church actually came out and said, no, this is wrong, he was wrong. And they said, they took that away. Like, they admitted that there was wrongdoing there and that was not true, and she was not a prostitute. And but the shit stuck ever since.
Mm.
So no, yeah, so she was absolutely not a prostitute. That there's actually no evidence behind that. That was just the way that I feel is a way to soil her name.
Yeah, and it really also it aligns with this whole ideology that women were from the very beginning the superior gender as far as being the goddess, the givers of life, the creators, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So it's not surprising, but it's also kind of sad because if she's not known for her contribution to history, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like, she needs to be. I'm glad you're doing this episode.
I feel like what we're moving into right now is this more acknowledging of the feminine power, of the feminine
Oh, for sure.
force.
Yeah.
And I feel like this lesson and learning more about her and learning the teachings that she has to provide is part of that, is allowing us to integrate, which once I get into all that, like, it's amazing stuff. But the thing about just really quick about the word that some people have translated or believe to be the word prostitute was actually a Greek word for sinner, which was harmatolos. And that is actually not the right word, because it in Greek, the word for prostitute or harlot is actually porin. So they never use that word in the Bible. So it's just a mistranslation, and also the fact that they put that word together, and then this Pope Gregory guy decided to say that it was her, and it was not. So just, we'll clear that up. She was definitely not a prostitute. That was just some asshole pope jumping to conclusions for whatever reason.
Fucking Pope Gregory.
Yeah, fuck you. Anyway, so okay. So the really interesting part that I wanted to get into about all these teachings is this is something that's brought up about Mary Magdalene. The fact that she was liberated from quote unquote seven demons, but they were not actually seven demons. So it's like seven core spiritual fears is what they actually are. And these are the fears, like the fear that there is not enough, the fear of I am insignificant and have nothing to offer this world, I cannot live as my truth, I am not loved, or that love has to be earned and can be taken away, I am not free to express my truth, and I do not know my truth, and the last one is I am alone. So
That's very spiritual, very new age contemporary, very esoterics.
yes. So these are translated right into like what we can interpret them into now. But essentially what those seven things were think of like the seven deadly sins.
Right, right.
Right? And then also though, if you think about it like in the other ways that number seven works, the colors of the rainbow,
Mhm.
right? And what that actually is. Um, so if the colors of the rainbow and the seven different colors, um, they're fragmented light, right? That's all
Yeah.
the rainbow projection is, and then there's like the Noah's Ark thing, right? Something about like the rainbow or something, like he would see a rainbow and that's how he would know. I don't know the Bible. I'm sorry, I'm not a Bible scholar, but
Um,
but I know that there's something there as far as rainbows go as well. But are we not all light beings in that way of we come from light, and so if anything that's just a way that we integrated it into ourselves.
well, I mean, everything, history always ties back to, the greater soul evolution and the purpose and all of those, sort of like I said, esoteric themes and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
we are light beings. Jesus was a light being. Mary Magdalene was a light being. Ultimately a soul with a soul blueprint and a plan and all that stuff. So,
Yes.
you know, I just think consciousness back then obviously hadn't ascended to the point of where people really actually thought that or knew that. I think some people did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Here, I think there were some people that did.
Yeah.
um yeah, because so another way to put these, like, so the seven deadly sins, so pride, lust, envy, anger, covetedness. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
It sounds, I
You
mean,
know
we
what
all
I'm
know what it is.
saying. The coveting
Covetedness.
one.
Thou
Glut
shalt not
Yeah.
covet.
Gluttony and sloth. And so when she was able to overcome these, then that cleared for the seven virgins of light. So this is the way that if she was truly healed, it's it was the she was like the prime example of Jesus's work as a healer. And
Right?
so, but in modern terms, it's saying that her heart and her energetic centers were open.
So her chakras.
Exactly. Yes, her chakras were open. So, yeah, so the whole idea that she could be like less than or soiled from her past and all that, it actually is it would kind of be an oxymoron in a way if you were to believe that, because if you believe that she's still soiled from her past, then that means that Yeshua wasn't an effective healer. So, like,
Right,
pick one.
right.
Yeah, you can't have both. Um
Nope, right.
okay. So there's something though that is in this book that I really wanted to point out because I thought it was really cool. And again, this is going back to mistranslations. So we just had Easter, right? So Mary Magdalene was actually the first person to see Yeshua when he was resurrected, right? When she went in, she
Yep.
walked into the tomb, she walked in there with oils to anoint him,
Hmm.
and she was the first one to see him to speak to him. Okay.
So what was he doing? He was just chilling. He was like, "Hey, what's up?"
So when
No, for real. Like, I don't know.
okay, well, I don't know exactly really what, like, because I've actually had this conversation with my husband before, because he went to Catholic school, like, his whole
We
life.
need
And
him on here
yeah,
to
I
fill
know,
in the
I know,
details.
right? Well, that's what I want to know, is like, so from my understanding is he showed up in spirit, like he showed up like a ghost, basically, is
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
So that's
Okay.
what it was, is it wasn't.
Look at me. I can totally believe that. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. A
Yeah,
ghost.
it's a
I
ghost.
totally get you.
It's
Right.
a ghost. But but then, Catholics aren't supposed to believe in ghosts or something. So yet, so many things that just don't line up with each other. Okay.
Uh-uh.
So the first, so it's when he sees her, um the what he says to her is, don't hold on to me, or don't cling to me. So the mistranslation from the King James Bible is "do not touch me,"
No.
which sounds pretty fucked up, right?
Right.
Right? Which, like, what is he like? Don't touch me.
Don't
Anyway,
touch my body. Don't touch my body lying there because I'm a spirit.
yeah,
And
but that
like,
but that wasn't even actually what he said. Okay, because the
what'd he say?
Latin translation was "noli me tangere," which I don't speak Latin, so if
Sounded
anyone's
good to
out there,
me.
whatever. Okay. But if we actually translate them from the original Greek, the original Greek word was me mo aptao, which means "don't hold on to me," or "don't cling to me." So the full line would be, "Do not cling to me, for I am not yet ascended to the Father."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what he's saying is, he's talking about his body, so that somewhere between his earthly body and his ascended body, that so can we talk about that for a little bit, about
Please.
how, if we think of Jesus or Yeshua as this healer, and some people were referred to him as a savior, which actually the word savior, I believe it was in Greek, was actually the word for teacher.
Yeah.
So if he was here in the physical, he was here, and he was supposed to experience a full life in a physical body, and that included everything that you do in a physical body, including living and dying, and the in between, which is being a man. Of Yeah, he's gonna have sex, like, that was, if he didn't have the full experience of being a man, he wouldn't have been able to become an ascended master, because he hadn't lived a full life experience.
100%. 100%. 100%. So, all right. So, what I know of Yeshua, honestly, I learned from Yeshua through my channels and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's basically, he came to me one day. It was in Lansing at this park called Moores River Park. It's a beautiful park, and there's a spot where it overlooks
Hmm.
Moores River Drive and this beautiful river.
Hmm.
And so there was this tree, and that's where I first felt him, sensed him, saw him, all this stuff. And I was like, "Shut up! You're like Jesus."
Jesus,
And
Jesus.
he's like, "My name is Yeshua," and I'm like, "Shut up! Like, I don't even believe in you." So
Mhm.
then I would start asking him questions, like, he's like, "Well, I'm your ascended master, so." Yeshua and Ganesha. Those are my two ascended masters that I work with.
Ah.
And so I would ask him questions, and basically, he's got a fantastic sense of humor. I mean, he really does. He says he's very witty. He told me he was a carpenter, he was a teacher, and honestly, his role was to promote, you know, like it's like a mini ascension sort of
Mm.
thing.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's it, and he keeps it really chill. Really, he is like a down ass, hippie,
Yeah.
like a down ass dude. He's really cool.
Yep.
That's just the energy that comes through. So I don't know anything about his story. That's why it's so cool to kind of hear this.
Yeah. Um so as far as the text of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, so this is what I thought was really cool. Okay. So when they ask her about sin, right? Because
Right.
we've all lived under this idea of like Jesus died for your sins, so what does all that mean or
Hmm.
whatever. Okay.
Hmm.
So Peter, it's actually Peter that asks, so since you have become the interpreter of the elements of the events of the world, tell us, what is the sin of the world? And then she answers, there is no sin. It is you who make sin exist when you act according to the habits of your corrupted nature. This is where sin lies.
My legs, my whole body tingled. First, my legs tingled, and then my whole body tingled. And also, can I just say that I knew that? I knew that. I knew it.
Yeah, well, it's free will, right?
Yep, free
I'm
will. It's all free will.
Yeah,
It, and it's neither good nor bad. It is the way that we think about it, the judgment that we place upon it, that is makes it good or bad. Of course, murder
exactly.
and horrible deeds are bad,
Yep.
but it's really a very fine line.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
who makes it bad? We
Exactly.
make it bad by deeming it so.
Yeah. And but also you have to think of it as how other people have perceived themselves in the act of committing things that were crimes against humanity, but they were looking at themselves as savior or as ridding the world of sin and evil to make it pure again. Like
Right, the
that's a
crazies.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fine line
It's
of
a very fine line.
yeah. So I thought that was really cool. So but it's really just summarizing that there is no sin, there's only sinners. So it's not outside of yourself, basically. It's the actions that you take.
And you know what I never understood about the Baptist religion was that they believe in original sin,
Oh,
that babies are born with sin, and I'm like, but they're babies. What the fuck sin did what? How? I just don't get it. And it's like, well, it's original sin,
yeah.
but we come from divinity, so how can we have come from sin? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit. I think it's a way
Thank
of
you.
roping people in to an institution telling you you're bad, and if you come here and you join us, now we can rid you of all the things that are bad. I don't
Thank you. I totally agree. It's bullshit too. I'm not trying to say all religion is bullshit because we've talked about this before. Community, coming together, fellowship, that's beautiful.
Mhm.
There's nothing different than coming together in a woman's circle.
Yep.
But fucking A, why are so many religions try to tell people that they suck when they don't?
Because it's about control.
It is about control.
I think
It's just,
that yeah,
it's
it's shame.
That's the part that sucks. Shame,
Yeah.
guilt,
Yeah.
control.
It's a way
Yeah.
of controlling people through shame and guilt. It's all that is.
Okay, what else? What are some more cool things about Mags, Mary Mags?
Okay. This is what I thought was really cool. Okay. So um so this is talking about the idea of like what it means to ascend, like how to be basically how
Yeah,
to be
Ascension.
ascension, how to be a better version of yourself. Like what is the point of all these teachings is what the question was. um so okay, what this says is like they're talking about the impermanence, so that attaching yourself to a certain identity, it's going to it has its consequences. And so okay, so this is the actual text. It says this is why you become sick and why you die. It is the result of your actions. What you do takes you further away. Those who have ears, let them hear.
It's beautiful.
So what this is talking about is just the sickness and suffering and death, they're all consequences of our own acts. But there's no reason to blame anyone for this. it's vain to complain and to put that onto other people, because there really shouldn't be any room for that kind of hate in this world. That the evil and the sin arise from the blamer in ourselves. um so this is kind of, it gets into that a part of it, but this is what I thought was really cool. Okay, so this blamer is the so this is i- in Hebrew, the word is called shatan. So, and it actually means obstacle, like Satan, right?
Ah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then the word in Greek, diabolos,
Oh.
which is the word in Greek is actually divider. So
Mm.
that, like, when I saw that, like, it's like my mind just like I just had, fucking, like, my mind exploded.
Blown.
Yeah, because if you think of, okay, so for anyone who doesn't speak Spanish, so diablo in Spanish is devil.
Hmm.
Then it comes from the word diabolos. But if that actually just means divider, doesn't that make
Hmm.
sense that it would be the division of yourself from love, like of
From God,
yeah,
yes.
it's
Yep.
the
Hmm.
division of yourself from love, from God,
Division
from
of
source, from yeah.
divinity. Yep.
Yeah.
Division, divinity. Yes.
Yeah.
So what's interesting to me is that there's such a contemporary energy coming from these words.
Mhm.
I mean, it's timeless, So, I mean, and whenever anything sounds like something that comes from a channel
Mhm.
or my guides, then I'm like, this shit is eternal. This shit is cosmic. This is, it's proof that the same spirit guides that talk to me and talk to our modern day mystics like Abraham, or I'm sorry, Esther,
Mm,
Abraham
mm,
Hicks,
mhm, mhm.
all of that, it's the same. They're the same spirits that we're talking to Mary Magdalene and Yeshua and, all of the, AD folks,
Yep. Yeah.
or Pete, or what is it before death? What's that?
BC,
BC, B,
BC.
BC and AD. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the point of this is, and this is what the beautiful part of it is that the teachings of what she's saying are that the savior is to be found within yourself, not outside of
Yeah.
yourself.
Right. Right.
And that just like sums it all up. Like that's like
It does.
that's like the that was like honestly like the core of all I wanted to get to. Like with all this, I was like, wow. But at the same time, like it, it's just so, like, I guess, heartwarming to hear it again and to hear it from other sources and to hear it. It's just confirmation of what we've already learned, what we've already been learning in, and but just becoming more spiritual of how the healing starts with you, and the fixing and the unhappiness, it starts from within, and until you can't make friends with that, until you can't integrate that, until you can't heal that, then you can't, like, move on, and you can't heal the next person.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what, that also, what you just said, that sort of, it brings to mind that whole, people who are like, who am I to help people? Who am I to lead people? Who am I to be a healer? Who am I to take clients and start working with people and helping them heal? And, um, again, this wisdom is, timeless.
Mhm.
It's, um, what's the word for, it's immortal.
Mhm.
And so, how do you know that you haven't built up to this in past lives, and that the lessons that you're learning in this life, in, a few short years, then ultimately overall prepare you to actually be a healer and
Yeah.
move forward? So,
Yeah.
that's just some crazy musings that I have about
Yeah.
stuff that pops up.
And uh this study of yourself, the inner knowing, the self-knowing, through integration of your shadow aspects, all that stuff. Like, sometimes people just need to hear it, and that's enough. And then it's take it or leave it, really. And that's why I personally love this shit, is because it's not like an organized religion thing where it's like, this is what it is and these are the rules, and do as I say, not as I do. Like, it's not. So it's just, here's the thing. Does it resonate with you? Yes, cool. No, also cool. Like, no, no harm, no foul. Like, it's not here to shame you or guilt you into believing or into understanding. A lot of this is just, it's just like your own inner knowing, and like, how you personally connect with it, and that's it. And
Mhm.
that's the beauty in it, and that's all you need.
They're beautiful, wise words that, again, are timeless. That when we're being reminded of, things that we may have just learned this year or last year, or and in order to learn the most beautiful aspects of that, we don't need four walls. We
Hmm.
don't need a church on Sunday. We don't need somebody to keep us from sinning or tell us that we're wrong. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about this. It's like, this is, to me, this is my religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's validation of my spiritual nature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know we talked about what Dolores Cannon talked about Jesus in the Essenes, and that's one of the things that they talk about, is how church was not meant to be a place. It was not meant to be four walls. It's not a place you go to. Church essentially is a gathering of people, and that's all it
Mm-hmm.
is. And
Yeah.
of people there to form a loving and safe space for them to speak and share with each other, and that's it. It's actually not as complicated as people make it out to be.
It's not as complicated, and it's not as restrictive. Or, yeah. What's interesting too is when you were telling me, when you were just talking about that, in my mind's eye, I got a flash of the Oracle of the Delphi, or the Delphi oracles.
Hmm.
But that's a cool story. So, that's one that'll go on the list to talk about. Those oracles were badasses.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, so the next book that I'm going to read is The Healing Wisdom of Mary Magdalene. So as soon as I'm done with that book, then I'll move on and we can talk a little bit more about that and whatever else comes out of there, cuz there's more. I know there's more. There was some sex magic stuff that went on in there. Um
Shut up.
yeah, it's there's some cool stuff in there that is, we're humans. It's
I think she was a priestess. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
mhm.
well, I want to let's. What about the seven? What about the seven chakras? Like, what about all that stuff too? Like, let's get into that. Like, at some point.
We will get into more of that. The way that I've seen it now is what I explained before, about how those fears correspond directly with the seven chakras, and how that is a way to do healing work. And that's something that I'm looking to learning in itself. And just hopefully we'll see what this book has to say. Um, about about the thing about her being a priestess. Yes, I've heard this, and I just haven't been able to like find more information about it. But I'll dig in more as I have time. Um, that she was an Egyptian priestess is what she was.
Mary fucking Magdalene was a priestess. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit what
Yeah.
they tell
And
me.
she was an
Whoever they
Egyptian
are.
priestess, and she actually, so she worked with Yeshua and he taught her, but she also taught him.
Yeah. So it's interesting, because there's just all of. Ooh, whoa! There go my legs. All right, so it was just sort of this flush of energy and thoughts, and
Mhm.
that's what happens when I get what are called psychic hits. So I'm going to um, call him into a meditation and ask him about her priestess nature,
Okay.
and we'll report back to all of our listeners here, because it's feeling very like, yeah, there go my legs. There's something there, guys.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Uh,
Jesus, tell me what it is. He has a good sense of humor, so he's not gonna be like, "What's this crazy girl?"
I know, yeah.
Okay,
You
so
think of the what's the Jesus in is it in Rio? The one that's just like he's thumbs up? You know what I'm talking about?
oh, I love that picture of him.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's a good one.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, yeah. He's well, I mean, like I said, I never. It's not that I didn't believe in Jesus. It's just like,
no,
but
it's just the personally for me it's like the idea of like he died for your sins, so therefore like live your life a certain way because otherwise like but there's this, and this is, oh, I hope he has a sense of humor because there's this meme that
he
said,
totally
so
does.
if you never so if you never sin, then did Jesus die in vain?
Oh my god, I posted that on my personal page, and I got people were like, "Oh my god, you went over the line." It's like, did I
did
really?
did
Keep
did
scrolling.
did you though? I
Did I
mean,
though? No, um, I mean, people get a sense of humor when it comes to Jesus. Okay, I mean, he has one, so y'all need one too.
Yeah, when I asked him for signs, I got a bunch of those funny freeway signs of like Jesus loves you or like where is Jesus or and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff. So yeah, I can see that. And obviously he hung out with all sorts of different people. He, you know.
Well, the thing is that he had, like I said, he had a soul blueprint just like everybody else. He made
Mhm.
mistakes. He did the human things.
Yeah.
He lived his life as a human. I mean, for that matter, we could say any modern day, symbol of celebrity who died tragically, quote unquote,
Oh.
for a greater purpose, quote unquote, died for our sins. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
it's all been convoluted, and I like and prefer thinking of him as an ascended master, as, just a spirit guide. It humanizes him,
yeah.
and I truly believe that he, just in all of the channels and stuff that I get from him, that he wants that. And there are people out there too. If you Google Jesus channels, or that sort of thing, you'll see a bunch of people. I'm not that. He's another voice, and it's cool.
Yeah. 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 And
But
he shows up for some people like that.
yeah, 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 yeah. So, all right, excellent.
All right. You have something for the
Yeah,
closing vibe today?
I do, right. So this, I'm totally giving credit where credit is due. This is from astrology.com. And I'm going to quickly go over the weekly love horoscope. Now, listen, this is more for fun because by the time you guys get this, it will be Friday. So
Mm-hmm.
your week will be gone. But it is kind of cool because this is the week when love, astrologically, when love um, has a greater purpose of expanding and or entering your life. Okay, so I'm going to start for Aries. First part of the week is perfect for dates and long, serious talks because you're so easygoing that the person you're with is likely to be somewhat disarmed.
Hmm.
And now, as the weekend begins, you need to initiate anything you want to see happen because you're the one with that energy. So, um, please let us know if any of these horoscopes were spot on. But again, I mean, I can't take credit for it. This is astrology.com.
Oh, the other thing about
Taurus,
horoscopes is sometimes you gotta also listen to your rising sign.
your rising sign.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yep. And if it helps, your moon too. So
Hmm.
sun sign, rising sign, and then moon sign. Taurus, if you're looking for a new love, now is the time to accelerate the search. You're more attractive than ever, so be open to new people and possibilities. Listen to your intuition this weekend, and you won't go wrong. So you will get this in time for this weekend. Gemini, it's way too easy to misread people this weekend, but as long as you remain skeptical of your first impressions, you'll be fine. Look and listen before reacting. Gemini. So basically, Gemini, if your first reaction is to be a jerk, don't. I don't think Geminis are. I like
Me
Geminis.
too.
Yeah, I enjoy conversations with Geminis, but they get a bad rap. I don't know why. I mean, one of my best friends, a couple of my best friends are Geminis. So
Well, because in men they have a hard time keeping their interest in one place, if you know what I
yeah,
mean.
I can see that. I
That's
can see that. But and what I love about it, especially with my Solar 5, is that Geminis keep it interesting, right? They
mm,
go from topic to topic to topic, and
yes.
I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So
Yeah.
I dig a Gemini. Cancer, you're thinking about romance as uniquely your own early this week. I don't really know what that means, but
Hmm.
basically they go on to say you might have to take a while to get it across to the right person, but it will totally be worth it to do so. So I think what they're saying is you're going to be interested, but the other person isn't. So it's gonna, if it's the right person, they'll pick up on it.
Uh,
I guess. I don't know. Cancer. Sorry, Cancer. That you got one that sucked. Leo. Okay, this is a good one. This is Leo is my moon. Leo, watch your sass on Monday and Tuesday because someone you really need to be clear with might misinterpret it. I say things in a way that are misinterpreted all the time. It's just what I do. If they think you are full of yourself, you'll have to correct the issue quickly. Don't let it get that far if you can.
oh.
It really, I always have to explain myself. It's like, when I said that and it came out this way, that's not what I meant. All right, Virgo. Your emotions are running especially deep early this week. It's not a bad time to communicate them to the person who's most important to you. But don't Virgos really have a hard time communicating? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Virgos I know are not
I feel like
easily.
Virgos are hard to read.
Virgos are Earth signs, and I do dig a Virgo. I do. I mean,
Oh,
they're
I
a
have
fellow
a
Earth sign.
ton of Virgo friends and family. A ton.
Yeah, but
I get along with them
they're
just great. They're just not that easy to read, is all.
no, and they're moody. Whether you're making a move or settling in or just testing the waters, you might find the timing right. All right, so that's Virgo. Now, and another thing about to mention is that I think that Virgos are not, Cancers are super moody,
Oh yeah.
and I think the worst. Like, what is wrong with you
It's
guys? Like,
it's water, it
seriously.
flows. It's the way it's ebb and flow. It's just,
Ah.
it changes all the time. You can't hold on to it.
But it's so weird because they're so weird from person to person. Like I have
Oh,
one
for
Cancer
sure.
friend who is lovely 100% of the time.
Okay.
I mean, I've never had him be moody or jerky. He's just a lovely human.
Hmm?
You guys know him. He's in the esoterics community. His name is Curtis. He's one of our moderators. Curtis, he's a lovely, lovely Cancer. But then there's other Cancers, and it's like, my God, take some fucking pills that regulate your moods or something. It makes me so mad. I'm like, here we go again. All right.
Mike is mostly Cancer.
Is he very moody?
He's a Leo. He's a Leo sun, but then after he's like mostly Cancer. It's funny. He's funny. It
Yeah.
yeah.
He needs that. He needs all that Libra energy that you bring to the table. I don't think Mike is moody, but
No,
again, I
no,
mean,
he's not. He's
I've
not
only
moody. He's not moody, but when he gets in a mood, forget
yeah.
it.
Well,
Forget it.
yeah, yeah. Just forget it. Okay. I did Libra, right? Did I do Libra?
No, you're on Virgo.
Okay. Libra. Uh You are more attentive than usual on Monday and Tuesday, and that should work to your advantage in a big way. So, um, The middle of the week is a great time to share ideas and intellectual passions with your sweetheart.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Um, little stresses might add up over the weekend, but you can help yourself by finding small ways to cope.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right, Libra. Scorpio, be careful with big demands early this week because they may backfire. That's not to say that you should never ask what you want, but right now you just need to be more reactive than active. Take things one step at a time. If you set the object of your affection free this weekend, they'll come back to you just when you need them most.
Oh.
That's for Scorpio, right? Scorpio. Sagittarius, things might seem hopeless to a lesser mortal, but you can see exactly what you need to do to make the situation work for you earlier this week. Boy, Sagittarius really think a lot of themselves, don't they? They do. They really do. And I have no problem with it, not at all. But I love that when people write for Sagittariuses, they're always writing as if the Sagittarius is a god or goddess. It's like, you know what? I'm not doing that in my forecast.
I'm a Sagittarius rising.
You are?
I am.
All right. Well, you are a goddess. So, all right. Now, you need to get to know each other. Oh, I'm going to start again.
Okay.
Things might seem hopeless to a lesser mortal, but you can see exactly what you need to do to make the situation work for you. So if a situation isn't working, then you just need to get to know each other better. If you feel out of sorts, try a little alone time, and that you may find that once your batteries are recharged, you'll get along a lot better. Okay. Capricorn, Monday and Tuesday are good for shopping, dates, or other somewhat practical excuses for spending time together. Well, I did shop today for the retreat, so. And it says, you might hear something that seems hurtful this weekend, but let it sit for a while. Before long, you hear the rest of the story. Oh boy, that doesn't work well. I don't like that when that happens because I'm that person who's like, I don't want to hear what you have to say. All right, I'm just gonna stay away from people this week. Aquarius. Don't talk to me. Aquarius. Your romantic energy is totally primed in the middle of the week, and things should really sizzle whether you're on a date or flirting online. If a message comes through in a way you don't like this weekend, try to get all the information you can before letting your reactions fly. You know, when I had a reading with Sam, she told me that I was going to meet an Aquarius. So I always pay a special attention to Aquarius horoscopes. Pisces. Make sure you speak your mind early this week. You ought to be able to find just the right words to express your heart's feelings, and you should get a really good response no matter what you request. The weekend is the perfect romantic time for you, so make sure you've got at least one date or session of quiet time scheduled. And of course, right now, Venus is in Pisces, or Pisces is in Venus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it still? So, of course, Pisces was like the perfect love horoscope. So, yeah, that's the closing vibe from astrology.com. It's paraphrased. If you want to find out, read the entire horoscopes, just visit astrology.com.
Yes.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, as always, you can find us on all the socials under Esoterics Podcast, and be sure to join our Facebook community, the Esoterics Community, to hear firsthand about our services, events, and courses, as well as get intuitive development tips, card pulls, free meditations, and a lot more.
A lot more. So we are so grateful to you for joining us. Thank you for sharing space with us today. Stay mystical, magical, and ready to do it again next week. See you later.
See ya. Bye.